Hello guys, this is Movie Lover and welcome to this Movie Lover world. The film begins with Val, a year-old woman visiting her grandmother. Despite their age difference, the two women are very close because Val's grandmother is her only living relative. Val inquires about the concept of love and marriage with her grandmother. Val's grandmother claims she was in love with her husband and never imagined she could love someone else. Val is skeptical and she even asks her grandmother what would have happened if her grandfather had rejected her. Val's grandmother mentions that in her day unemployed women had two options, marriage or prostitution. Val's grandmother encourages her to keep a diary of her experiences, claiming that it is therapeutic and can help her. It could help her gain clarity. Val has a strong sexual desire and believes she cannot be tied down to one person. She describes how sex became her way of connecting with the universe. She lost her virginity when she was years old. She knew she wanted more and more sex from the moment she had it. After one round, the boy she was doing it with did not satisfy her, so they went at it again. Val claims that at the time nothing could compare to the immense pleasure she felt. That's why she continued to have sex whenever she could. She didn't care where it was, and she eventually didn't care who it was. Despite this, Val has done well in school and now works in the marketing department of a company in Barcelona. This means she will be able to pay her bills and live comfortably. Val is involved with a man named Alex. Despite the fact that she is having an affair, her increased appetite usually ends the relationship. Many men are unable to keep up with her because she is always ready to go whenever Val is in the office and receives a call from one of her many lovers. Val goes to see the man because Alex is out of town, and the two end up having a steamy night at work. The next day, Val's close friend Sonia warns her about her tardiness to work. When the two women discuss men, Sonia expresses her belief that love should be a romantic experience in which the man sends flowers and makes you feel special. Alex will return soon. He notices that Val only wants to be intimate on her terms, which irritates him. He brings it up and Val eventually relents after what appears to be an intense match. The two have wild sex. Val expresses her desire to continue. This enrages Alex, who breaks up with her, claiming she has a voracious sexual appetite and that he is unsure if he is the only man in her life. Val is enraged, but she is powerless to intervene. She walks out of the apartment and to the train station. At the station, she notices a stranger who is drawn to her. They end up having sex outside next to a fence. Val leaves the stranger and begins walking home. After the deed is completed, she runs into a prostitute who saw her with the stranger. The prostitute advises her to enjoy herself while she is young, because she may need to be a prostitute in the future to pay her bills. Val returns home and takes a shower. She soon realizes that a man is peering through the window at her. She puts on a performance for the man. Val receives a call from her grandmother, who has become ill just as she is about to close her blinds. She leaves work to attend to her. Val's grandmother believes the doctors are exaggerating her condition. Val confides in her grandmother. She is perplexed as to what is wrong with her, because she does not want to be with just one man. She is concerned that she does not understand family or marriage. She also questions why her grandmother has never chastised her for her promiscuity. Val's grandmother advises her to live her life and enjoy her emotions. Otherwise, she will never have a happy life. Val goes to get a blanket for her grandmother, but when she returns, her grandmother has died. Val recalls a low point in her life as burying the one person who cared for her. She wished she could find solace in the hands of a man, but she lacked the energy to do so. Life must eventually resume. Val, on the other hand, is fired because she arrives late and leaves early. Val has a good education, so she applies for and is interviewed for several jobs. Her first interview goes well, but then she meets Jamie. The man expresses interest in Val during her second interview, and Val quickly agrees to go out with him. Jamie takes Val to an opulent hotel. Val is determined to save herself for the night, and the two have a lovely evening. She is also deeply disturbed by her irrational needs, which she is attempting to control. Jamie is a very romantic guy who knows exactly what to say, and even small gestures like getting her flowers. He drives her home and the two exchange Passionate kisses. Later, after spending time together, Jamie and Val fall madly in love. A montage of the two spending time together while Jamie purchases expensive items for Val as shown. Val is excited to take things slowly with Jamie, but she quickly caves. Val is disappointed that Jamie is not as good in bed as she had hoped, but she dismisses it because she has a good life and is in love with a man. Jamie finishes too quickly for Val to be satisfied, but you can't have everything. Soon after, Jamie purchases an expensive apartment and invites Val to live with him. Jamie suggests that the house could be the place where they start a family. Val confides in Sonia about her feelings for Jamie. She states that she does not want to be with anyone other than Jamie. Sonia inquires about their romantic life, and Val defends Jamie, claiming that he is frequently stressed at work. She decides to live with him and possibly have a child or two. Val receives a call from her first interviewer, a fashion designer from Italy. She is overjoyed to have a job. However, Jamie becomes enraged with her one evening when she fails to return his calls, accusing her of having an affair with her boss. She is irritated that he would think that, and she wonders why she cannot be happy for her. Jamie apologizes later and the two kiss. This is only the tip of the iceberg, because Jamie shows up at Val's workplace and causes havoc, accusing Val of sleeping with her boss. Val soon realizes Jamie is bipolar. On the one hand, he is charming and sweet, but on the other, he is abusive and obsessive. Val's boss approaches her and inquires as to why she is with Jamie. He claims that if he wasn't gay he would date her, so she should stop underestimating herself. Val returns home to discover Jamie with a prostitute. When Jamie demands that Val pay the prostitute, Val becomes enraged. This is a wake-up call for her, and she seeks Sonia's assistance. Sonia advises her to leave Jamie because she is far too forgiving. Val returns to the house and begins packing her belongings. Jamie enters with a large bouquet, but his mood quickly changes when he realizes Val is leaving him. He threatens her, but when that fails, he begins to cry. Val is unconcerned and walks away. She stays at Sonia's place for a while before returning to her old apartment. One evening, Val is heartbroken and keeps thinking about Jamie's words. When she can't take it any longer, she decides to end her life by jumping out the window. She takes a step back and sobs on the floor. Sonia soon seeks her out and assists her in realizing that she has a reason to live. Val is currently unemployed and she has spent all of her savings on Jamie's extravagant lifestyle. She decides to make some money as a prostitute in a brothel. She is introduced to the brothel owner's madam, who has complete control over all of the women who work there. Val befriends a Brazilian woman named Cindy. Val soon enjoys her work, pleased that she is being compensated for doing something she enjoys. Giovanni, an Italian man, is one of her regular customers. Val's smitten by his tender ways and is overjoyed when he books her for the second time. She is, however, disappointed to see that the man had given her to his friend. Pedro is one of many men who have expressed interest in Val. Val quickly realizes that Pedro only wants to control her because he is wealthy. He also expects her to be calm around him. Val refuses the man and jumps out of a window without collecting her payment because he is sexually aggressive. Val returns to the brothel the next day. Cindy unfortunately jumps out the window and dies. This causes Val to reconsider her life. She is deeply disturbed by the madam's casual attitude towards Cindy's death, as she wonders what lies ahead for her. The madam believes that life goes on, so Val should continue to serve her customers. Val meets with a client and begins to address his needs. She realizes that if she continues to act in this manner, her life will be meaningless. She considers herself fortunate in that she is not as desperate as the other prostitutes because she has an education and the opportunity to better her life. Val informs the madam that she wishes to leave the brothel. The madam tries to persuade Val to stay, but she is set on leaving. Val is abused and threatened by the madam, but she is a girl on a mission, and that mission is to leave the brothel, so no threats work. Val leaves the brothel to see her dear friend Sonia. Sonia is happily married, demonstrating that she has found happiness and the love she has always desired. Val informs Sonia that she is leaving. The brothel. Sonia expresses her relief and promises to be a better friend in the future. Val runs into the guy from her apartment building who had peered at her earlier. While walking home, Val invites him to return to her apartment when the man says he doesn't have any money. Val assures him that everything is fine, demonstrating that she has turned to freelancing. The film concludes. Thanks for watching. Movie Lover will meet you again with new story. Till take care.